They come in the abandoned hour of the night, moving through quiet, arterial streets, empty intersections, past gated storefronts and darkened windows, homeless men curled into bus stop shelters, prostitutes walking the desolate concrete stretches. They come in a pair of white Ford Econolines, identical vans, flanks unmarked, windowless and blank. They sit parallel at stoplights, and the drivers raise their eyebrows at each other and yawn, sip coffee from styrofoam cups, roll forward when the lights change, towards the motel, the apartment complex, the house in the hills. There is always someone waiting when they arrive, someone standing in the driveway or doorway, looking more than a little shell-shocked, still not quite able to believe what they've seen, that what has happened has actually happened. The police have left, the coroner's people have left, but someone slipped them a business card on the way out, passed along a company name and phone number, and told them to call and wait. Mothers, husbands, wives, motel night clerks, apartment managers, security guards. Whoever was unfortunate enough to be the one to open the door, to walk into the room and see something they will never forget. They weren't going to call the number. There was a moment after all the noise and commotion, after the police and coroner's people left, when the person waiting in the doorway was alone in the new silence of the place, just outside the room, a moment where they thought they could handle it themselves. They could take care of things quickly and efficiently, that it would be the right thing to do for their son or husband or employer, that it would be unpleasant but possible. But then they remembered the sight and the smell and the profane mess, the horror of the thing, and they dialed the number on the card and spoke to a sweet-sounding old woman who took their information and told them that help was on the way. The white vans pulled to the curb, engines cooling, ticking in the stillness. Two men get out of the first van, stretching and yawning in the bad light. These are not the kind of men the person in the doorway expected. The person in the doorway is not sure what kind of men they expected, but these are not those men. One of the men is tall, buzz-cut, with full sleeves of multicolored tattoos. The other is short and gym-built, with a thinning cap of flaming orange hair. These are rough-looking men, truckers or sailors, heavy lifters, men who look like they're in the habit of breaking things, dropping things, banging around in small rooms. They do not seem equipped for the subtlety and reverence required for the task at hand. The grandmother on the phone had used the term technicians, had said that she was sending a crew of technicians, but these men do not appear to have the degree of precision that the term implies, the level of scientific expertise. The person in the doorway considers redialing the number on the card, canceling the job, dealing with this themselves. But then there is the memory. That first moment when they opened the door and came across the scene in the room. The unspeakable thing. So they do nothing. They hold the business card and wait as the men move to the backs of the vans and pull out their equipment. Red plastic buckets, squeeze bottles and spray cans, wire brushes and putty knives, roll after roll of paper towels. Another man, the driver of the second van, steps down onto the sidewalk. He approaches the person in the doorway, walking slowly, head down. He is terrifically fat. He has a graying ponytail that stretches down between his shoulder blades and a thick, bushy mustache that turns up at the ends. There is a name for this type of mustache, an antiquated style, but the name escapes the person waiting. Remembering it seems important suddenly, proving that they are still capable of simple acts, putting names to things. It seems like this would restore a level of normalcy to the night, having a name for it, that style of mustache. But the term is just out of reach, and they are left at a loss again. The two men at the vans are pulling on blue paper bodysuits. They are pulling on rubber gloves. They are duct taping each other's suit sleeves closed around the gloves. They are pulling safety goggles out of the vans, plastic and rubber respiration masks, a box of disposable surgical booties. More duct tape for the pant cuffs of their suits, a man standing on one leg, balancing with a hand against the side of a van, while the other rolls the tape around his ankles. They look like something out of an old science fiction movie. Moon men. They look like moon men. The fat man approaches. The fat man arrives. He is even bigger up close, towering, damp-browed, breathing heavily from the short walk. He smells of cigarettes and coffee. He looks down at the scuffed toes of his work boots. He is about to speak, and the person in the doorway has absolutely no idea what he is going to say, what anyone could possibly say on this night, standing outside after the police and coroner's people have left, after the facts have been given and recorded, the known details. The person has no idea what's left, what words would still have a shred of relevance, what words wouldn't fail utterly. The fat man nods and looks up and speaks in a low, rich rumble. What he says is, "I'm very sorry for your loss." And maybe this is the moment where the person in the doorway cries or screams or lets loose a fusillade of vulgarities, a seething mass of profanity and loss. Maybe this is the moment where the person falls to their knees, dissolving into guilt, sobbing convulsively, and has to be helped up by the fat man, held under the elbows and lifted gently. Maybe this is the moment where the person hits the fat man, just to put a physical blow to the feeling, just to strike some kind of a blow. Maybe this is the moment where they speak in tongues, when they resurrect a primal language, finding comfort in the acceptance of extreme things, babbling in God's own voice. Or maybe this is the moment where they say nothing, where they stand silent, when the weight of the thing that happened finally settles on them, and they sag a little in the shoulders and knees. The smallest thing, the way they will sag from now on, the way they will carry this night in their bodies from this moment forward. And maybe this is their only response to what the fat man says. The moon men pass inside, carrying their equipment. Their blue paper suits crinkle and shush. The fat man stays for a few minutes, and maybe he says something else, and maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just stands and waits as the person in the doorway gets used to the sagging weight, their new posture, the slight adjustment in bearing. Then the fat man returns to the vans and pulls on his own moon man suit, gathers the equipment the others have laid out for him, passes by the person in the doorway and enters the motel or apartment or house in the hills. And maybe this is when it comes to them, when it arrives unexpectedly, the lost identifier. Maybe this is when they remember the name of the thing, the fat man's facial hair. Maybe it comes to them then, just like that, a gift. Handlebar mustache. The name of the thing is Handlebar mustache. Thank you.